Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of Over the Top Talk. I'm your host, Owen, and today we decided to switch it up. Red Sox lost yesterday. We have UFC 320 tomorrow with two featured headlines with Marab versus Corey and Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev. But I'm not doing this alone. I never like to do these alone. Nobody likes to talk by themselves. So I'm bringing back a special guest who was actually with us when we made our UFC 319 predictions almost probably over a month ago, probably 2 months ago. Welcome back to the podcast. Max, how we doing today?
Let's go. Owen, I appreciate you having me back, man. It was an honor to do the predictions for UFC 319 with you. We did pretty good on our predictions. It was an honor to go to the event. I wish the main event would have been a little bit better, but, to be a casual and say it's all Hamzat's fault. DDP should have been able to get out of those situations. But we got 320 tomorrow. We're not here to talk about that anymore. That was 6 weeks ago. We got UFC 320 predictions coming right here for you. Owen, I appreciate you having me back on, brother.
Awesome, and it's nice to see familiar faces. For everyone watching, where I think I'm only live on my Instagram account and YouTube channel, but all three of me and Anthony's tags are down there below. I'll actually be seeing Anthony tomorrow for our UFC watch party. We haven't done a watch party since January, so it's actually nice to kind of we're both off from work. Some of our other friends are coming back down from college campuses to watch this event with us because it's UFC 320, probably one of the biggest card of the year, I would say. Finally, we waited about 10 months. Not that there hasn't been good cards, but this one just has a lot of, even the lower card. Me and Max only going to be talking about the 5 main card fights because of time reasons. But Max, before we kind of start, how do you feel about this UFC 320? The main card, the first or the 5 cards that we have on this fight card.
For sure, man. And I think you said it perfect, Owen. I mean, we've got, such a fantastic fight night tomorrow night. Not even the fights we're covering right now, but, starting at 5 o'clock, you got 2 girls that are going to be locked in there, very high-level fighters, and then we're just going to go all the way up until we get the rematch between Powhatan and Ank. Very excited for this, man. I think, to this point of this year so far for what's been put together, I think this probably is the best. Just on a, looking at it on paper, the different matchups. I mean, anytime that the featured bout on a main card is Yuri Prohaska and Khalil Roundtree Jr., that's insane. Like that's the third fight on the main card. So if they're right there, they're not in a co-main slot. You're in for a treat, man. So I couldn't have said it better myself. It's been a long time coming. Like I said at the top of the show, we went to 319 in Chicago. It was fantastic, but, it's been too long, but Dana's absolutely delivered here with this long break we've had in between pay-per-views.
Yeah, of course. And, my only critique about, maybe Dana, specifically with this card, and I feel like a lot of fans are saying is, it's a huge card, lots of good fights. I feel like the, marketing or I guess promoting it wasn't as good, I feel. They always do the UFC, like they'll post the fighters on their YouTube. Obviously Nina does her thing, but as far as marketing this, card, I feel like wasn't the greatest for, a card that has a lot of great fights on it, even the undercard. Talking about the main. That would be my only critique probably about this, process of getting here. I feel like fight week. I mean, obviously, us as fight fans, we know, this is a huge card, but to people that maybe aren't fight fans or that are getting into it, wouldn't have a clue that this is a good card.
Sure.
But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think just to kind of go off of what you said right there, I think to be a little more specific, I feel like whenever I refresh my Instagram page, and, maybe it's because of, what I'm liking on Instagram right now. I don't know. It could be me, guys. I'm not going to sit here and point the fingers at Instagram and the UFC yet, but I'm kind of with Owen on this. I feel like I see a lot more clips of Embedded on my Instagram whenever I refresh on a fight week, and I didn't see a single one this week. I don't think. I saw the media day. Obviously, that happens on Wednesday. You had your press conference, which was last night at the time of this recording right now. So we saw all that, but like just kind of the buildup from like Sunday to Wednesday / Thursday, it wasn't the best. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it's in the fight capital of the world. It's at T-Mobile Arena. I've had guys on my channel. I asked them, where do you want to fight one day? That's been a common question that I ask, and a lot of them say T-Mobile Arena. So you got the center stage you want in the fight capital of the world, in one of the best arenas in the country. Have just a badass card of just phenomenal fighters from top to bottom. I'm kind of with you right there, Owen. I think the marketing could have been a little bit better this week. But Jack Gold MMA has been doing phenomenal. That's my boy. He's been killing it. So if you need some good content out there in Vegas, make sure you check out Jack Gold MMA. He's been he's been doing everything out there from Monday to now. So he's got some great content. So you should check him out if you're on me and Owen's side for not getting much content this week. Shout out to Jack.
Awesome. It's get right into, who's opening our UFC 320 card. We got Abbas Magomedov, terrible at names, versus Joe Pyfer, which, Magomedov obviously being a great grappler in this fight, Joe Pyfer being more of the striker. And I love to add the lines for these fights as well. I've loved to start to do that with obviously Joe Pyfer walking in, or I should say Magomedov walking in as the underdog in this fight. Magomedov, I think, is on a 2-fight win streak. Joe Pyfer, I believe, is on a 3-fight win streak walking in there. So both these men going to be very hungry for wins. I think I'm going to have to go with who they're favoring here with Joe Pyfer. I think his striking is very great. And actually, I've had a couple of my personal friends be able to meet Joe Pyfer at some of I think it was out when they did the Fanatics thing where you got to meet all the fighters. I think Joe was one of the ones that was there. Lots of my friends were all rooting for Joe Pyfer into this fight. To make a prediction on where, how it's going to end, I might have to go with Joe Pyfer by maybe unanimous decision. I don't think there's going to be a knockout. Obviously, Magomedov has the threat when he's on the ground, but I think Joe Pyfer is going to pull this one off with a unanimous decision win. How about you, Max?
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, Owen. I was at Abus's last fight in Kansas City against Michelle Pereira. It was by far, and I try not to talk bad about these fighters, but this is just me. My opinion. I was there. That was by far the worst fight on the card, top to bottom. Abus has a very, very big issue when it comes to cardio. I think Joe is not happy with the performance he put on against Kelvin earlier this summer and on that pay-per-view slot. And I think Joe's going to be hungry to come out tomorrow night to make a statement. And I think that's what the UFC has given him. I think this is a quote-unquote layup for Joe Pyfer. They want him to win this fight. He's a very marketable guy. He gets on the mic. He'll say some good things. And, overall, I mean, he's a powerful striker, man. He's got good BJJ as well. I think if Abus even does try to wrestle him, I don't think he's going to be able to hold Joe down for that long. I do see Joe getting a finish, maybe late second round or sometime in the third round. I think he's really just going to come out here and try to put Abus away. It's no secret that his cardio is an issue. So I'm going to go with Joe Pyfer by unanimous decision, like what Owen just said, or a late TKO finish.
Awesome. And moving down our card a little bit, we were talking about this fight a little bit before we, got, on the live stream air. Obviously, Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal. Youssef Zalal obviously being he's on a tear right now. Not surprised that, he's heavily favored for this fight and this matchup. And I was actually telling Max before we hopped on air that just, a couple minutes ago, probably like about an hour ago, I saw Josh Emmett step off the scale. Obviously, they were doing the ceremonial weigh-in stare down, and Josh Emmett seemed like he was limping a little bit. And honestly, And in the comment sections on Instagram, people were also noticing that Josh Emmett was limping. Maybe he wasn't limping. We're seeing things, or taking things out of perspective, I should say. But I'm a Josh Emmett guy. I wish I could pick Josh Emmett to win this. But I think I'm going to go with you. I'm not going to overthink it. I think I'm just going to go with Yusuf Zalal. Obviously being the heavy favorite. He's on a tear right now. I think these guys are both ranked. I think they're 8 and 9. So literally, fight probably won't move them too much in the rankings based on who wins this. But I think if I'm choosing who's going to win, I hope Josh Emmett doesn't get KO'd. I really don't. I've seen so many guys I like get KO'd this year. Do not want to add Josh Emmett to the list of guys. So I think I'm going to play it safe and say Yusuf Zalal by unanimous decision, like I said, for Joe Pyfer. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm also going to be right there with you. I mean, you guys see the line at the bottom of the screen here. I'm also not going to overcomplicate this. Josh Emmett, going to his favor, though, I will say always the positives on both sides. If Josh Emmett touches anybody, he can put their lights out. I mean, that's a very cliche thing to say if you're listening to me and you don't actually watch this sport. But, I mean, this dude has real power for this weight class. I mean, the problem is, though, and why I think Owen also picked Yusuf here, and as well as I'm picking Yusuf, Yusuf is just way too good of an outside striker. I think Josh might try to wrestle him tomorrow night. I do not think that he's going to succeed. I think you're going to see Yusuf Zalal win this fight inside 7.5 minutes. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be one of two things happen. One, Josh is going to overthrow and Yusuf's going to throw something where there hasn't really been much happening. Yusuf's not a crazy guy when it comes to volume, but I think Josh might overextend and get caught there, or he's going to lose or he's going to not have as high as respect for Yusuf because nothing's really coming back his way. And then I think Yusuf is just so quick. He's so dynamic. He can hurt you with so many different things. I watch a lot of MMA Guru, and I do agree with what he said as well. I'm going to go ahead and quote him off this. Yusuf has a very good knee up the middle. So if Josh does throw a few takedowns, shows what he's going to go at, to try to take Yusuf down, and Yusuf stuffs those, be looking for a knee up the middle, look for Yusuf to time that. So I think Yusuf Zalal is going to win this fight in the first 7.5 minutes. So under 1.5 for Yusuf Zalal here.
Perfect. Feel like that's a fair assessment with, especially with this potential Josh Emmett injury that a lot of fans noticed before, he might walk in that cage tomorrow. But I'm really excited to talk about our next fight that we got going on.
Woo!
because
Woo!
because if Merab and Corey weren't in that co-main event and there wasn't two headliners, this would be right there in the co-main event. And if this was even like a fight night or something like that, these two would be the main event.
Oh, for sure.
We have two guys here who literally, ESPN posted some sort of stat. I think it's like Yuri has attempted like 3 takedowns, and I don't even think Khalil has even attempted a takedown in his entire career. They're both heavy stand-up guys. I love my stand-up guys. I love the people who just go for, each other's heads. I love the boxing. This is going to be a complete war. I honestly hope this goes the full 3, because honestly, I think it will go the full 3 based on what we've seen from these two men the last couple months, last couple fights from these guys. And obviously the lines are there. But honestly, I think this could go either way. I think this is like a 50-50 right down the middle. Don't really, obviously two huge strikers. I'm going to make that a highlight. I love my strikers. Prediction wise, I love Yuri. I just, he's looking to get back in the title picture. I think him getting a win over Khalil puts him very close to getting another title shot, depending on how this main event goes for UFC 20. It's an important fight for Yuri. And as he said, and as ESPN has showed us, he also got a college degree from his last fight to this fight, which congratulations to Yuri. Not taking anything away from Khalil Roundtree. He's had, some of his best fights, even that fight against Alex not too long ago. put up a great performance against Alex. He's no pushover. Like I said, this is going to be a war. We're probably going to see lots of blood in this match or fight, which I love to see. And these two guys are they've said it before. They are both prepared for war. They love fighting in that octagon. So if I were to make a prediction, I think I'm going to have to go with another unanimous decision. Maybe actually I'm going to switch and go split decision here for Yuri. Yeah, I think it's going to be Yuri by split decision, but I think it's going to be a close fight unless like I'd be surprised if this was like a one fighter wins like a majority. But how do you feel about this fight tomorrow?
Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and say right now a few things before I get into the prediction. Me and Owen, we just get on here and catch up before this. We don't actually talk about what we're going to say, but I'm also siding with Owen here. But I'm telling you guys this right now. When you're my age, you work full time, we waited till Friday night to get off work in the weekends here. I'm waiting for Saturday night, and it's because of this fight right here. This is the fight that I'm not excited to get off work on Fridays. I'm not excited to do that yet. I'm excited for Saturday night. I'm already sitting here. I'm so excited for this fight. I cannot wait to watch this tomorrow night. There's some fantastic fights before this, but this is where you really bite down on the mouthpiece on this card right here. What a fantastic matchup we have here. Going to be very interesting to see what happens, especially with Carlos Ulberg get his KO win in the first round last week over Dominic Reyes. These two guys are going to come out and make a statement tomorrow night. The problem is, and I think Owen said it perfect a second ago, I think both of these guys are both so durable. They've both been in multiple 5-round wars. They've been able to get to that distance during that. I think that this fight is going to go the distance as well. I'm going to lean Yuri, though. I think Yuri's pressure, I think if he can back Khalil up, I think Yuri is going to be able to pressure him and get him in bad positions and maybe not put him down, because I am going to pick a split like with Owen, but I think he could put Khalil in some worse positions to get hit with worse things than what maybe Khalil can throw back to Yuri. This is such a fantastic fight, though. I don't understand the odds either. I don't think anybody in this fight should be 2-1. If anything, it should be like minus 130 Yuri, maybe plus 100 or plus like 110 on Khalil's side. But what a fantastic fight. These are two guys that, if I ever have the opportunity one day to have them on my channel, these are two guys that it's a no-brainer. I mean, we all have our fighters we don't like, guys, but I feel like everybody loves both of these dudes, and they're going to put on a fantastic war tomorrow night for us. So, but look for Yuri. If you're a betting guy, we're on here talking about picks. I'd go over 2.5 on this round. That's my pick for that.
Yeah, and like you just said, there, people love these two guys. Even at yesterday's face-off, literally the two of them were dressed up like pretty much like us, just showing up to the, face-off. And even tonight, I think Yuri was in his like underwear, and Khalil was, in pants.
He walked up there in his boxers like he was weighing in again.
Obviously, two fan favorites. Obviously, if, like I said before, if there weren't two headliners on this card, these two men would be right up there in those slots. But moving on to obviously one of our headliners for the Bantamweight UFC Championship of the World, Merab versus Corey, which is a fight that's been talked about for a while now. Even they were talking about this fight when, Merab was fighting Suga, I think like the first time. Maybe they started talking about the second time. I don't really know. But the weird thing I see about this fight is I don't know if you saw Max, but you have Merab's coach telling him to strike, and then you have Corey's coach telling him to grapple with Merab. I don't know why they're complete opposite, to what their coaches are telling them to do right now. But obviously Corey being a huge underdog, not a shock to anyone, I don't think. Merab obviously on a roll. Nobody's been able to test his stamina yet. Obviously, if Merab wants to strike with Corey, I don't think he's going to. I really don't. I don't think it's smart for Merab to strike with Corey. I think Corey has amazing striking. So if Merab were to, if he actually stands up with them, I'd be shocked. Um, but I do think this is going to go to the ground. I also believe this will go probably the full 5, um, knowing Merab's past fights. Merab has the stamina advantage. Corey has the striking advantage. I'd love to pick Corey. I'd love to see a new champ because we've had Merab running around with the title for a while now, and I kind of like when championships kind of flip around a little bit. But I think if I were to pick who's going to win this, I think obviously Merab. I'm not going to overthink this one. I don't know if it's going to go the full 5 or if Merab's going to submit Corey or not, because I don't think Corey's that good on the ground. So I think if it goes to the ground, I don't know how long it lasts. But I think I'm going to go with Merab by a round 3 submission. I don't know what that submission's going to be, but I'm going to go with Merab round 3 sub. How about you, Max?
Okay, I like that pick right there, man. The thing I want to say 2 things before we get going, I guess, on this pick. Number one, I just want to say shout out to Merab. There are so many guys that once they get the title, they sit on their ass and they just camp that title. Merab is so active. He's probably the most active champion we have right now in the UFC. So I just want to give a shout out to Merab right now. I don't know the dude personally, obviously, but you guys watching this, the real UFC fans that keep up with this, like, we got to appreciate the dude. He wasn't really liked from, an MMA community standpoint not so long ago. And now he's really loved. And I think that's a huge reason why. So shout out to him for just being an active champion. The other thing I'm going to say, you guys are seeing the line down below us right now. Merab's a minus 380 favorite. I think Corey right now does deserve this title shot more than anybody. And, you might be looking at me like, Max, no shit, like he's fighting him tomorrow night. Well, it always doesn't work that way, guys. The number one guy, the best guy, doesn't always get the title shot. But I think that's what you have here tomorrow night. I really do believe that Corey's the most deserving guy to get this. He did lose to Umar in his fight. I believe that was a main event in maybe Abu Dhabi last year on a fight night, maybe. But either way, I think Corey's most deserving of this right now. And I'm exactly on the same side as Owen here. Merab is just a different breed, man. And anytime I've seen Corey fight against, Corey beats really good fighters. He hasn't beaten any elite fighters yet. And that's why, for me right here, Merab is the elite of the elite. That's where I draw the line. I think Merab gets it done tomorrow night. Look for him to get maybe a late sub. I tell you what, though, if Merab knocks Corey Sandhagen out tomorrow night, and he actually is not bullshitting about what he said, man, you guys are looking at potentially the bantamweight GOAT. I'm going to be completely honest. This dude's on a tear. So, yeah, Merab knocks him out tomorrow night. He might be my bantamweight GOAT, hands down. I'm just going to be completely honest. I'm going to quit talking about glazing him, though. We're going to go late submission. I think he is going to try to take it to the ground. Corey's obviously a lot better than Suge is on the ground, but I don't think it's anything like Merab. So we're going to go late sub, or we're going to go like a 50-45, maybe 49-46 decision there. I don't think it's going to be close tomorrow night.
Yeah, I really don't think it's going to be close either, but obviously excited. This is, our first, one of these cards where it's rare when you see 2, headliners like this, especially 2 title defenses on the same card. So I love when we get, 2 title shots in one night, and not just the one that you wait for the entire night. I'm glad we have 2. But before we get into the main, talking about the main event, make sure to subscribe, guys. Me and Anthony have been grinding. He's not here, but he joins me for all the WWE content we make. He also joins me for some of the interviews we do. But me and Anthony have been grinding for about 2 years now, a year and a half. Just starting to see traction over on our YouTube, especially check out our shorts. Pretty much the stuff we post on YouTube, like the rails and stuff, you'll also see on our YouTube shorts. If YouTube doesn't copyright strike me, which they've done like 8 times. They haven't given me any strikes, but they've given me like 8 warnings. But make sure to check out our rails. Me and Anthony work hard on those. We have a ton of them that we post daily. We try and post daily. We make sure, if you follow us on Instagram, If you message us on there, we'll respond in like, well, we respond pretty quick over on our Instagram. We always post stories. Also, our Twitter, I've been putting out tweets about, if I have an interview or something, I'll put it on Twitter. We don't use that a lot, but it's definitely there for you guys. And then our TikTok is technically ODoggin16, but I put the Over the Top Talk branding on it just because of follower reasons. So make sure pretty much the Reels on Instagram and YouTube Shorts are also over on the TikTok. So make sure to follow us, guys. We appreciate you, all. And, Max, where can the people find your account?
Yeah, man. I just want to say right now, guys, if you are watching this and you aren't following Owen and Anthony, or you're not subscribed to their channel yet, you guys got to tune in. I mean, Owen, he does do interviews like what we're doing right now, or predictions, I guess you want to call it, tonight. He does do interviews with fighters as well. But Owen does a fantastic job of putting reels together. And also, if you're a WWE guy and you like to watch WWE and UFC, this is your absolutely account, or this is your best account you can get right here. He covers everything. He puts out badass reels. You can get on the Instagram right there. Thousands of eyes have looked at the reels, but they got to start hitting the follow button. I'm not sure why we're in a society nowadays where you can't give people credit by just hitting a simple little button for producing a nice video for you. So make sure you guys check out their stuff, man. It really is good. Especially tomorrow night when you got a pay-per-view. Owen's going to be posting some fantastic stuff over the course of the evening and Sunday morning. But if you guys want to find me, all you got to do is just put a dot between what you see on the screen right there. So you got max.wawrin. That's my Instagram. We post all the interviews that I do on the main page. We also post it on the YouTube/Instagram page as well. Hawk Sports YouTube. That's what we've been doing, man. It's a grind, it's a grind. I really do try to get an interview every other day. I love this shit, man. And, it's brought me and Owen here tonight. Without being in this MMA interview space, me and Owen probably would have never got connected. So, it is something I really am passionate about. Owen's passionate about too. And, me and him are going to continue to grind for you guys, put out good content, and we'll see you guys at the top.
Yeah, and make sure to go check out Max, guys. Me and him, pretty much do the, same content. Pretty much we have similar fighters on our, if you see someone on my channel, there's a high chance you've seen him on Max, same vice versa. Me and him have been grinding. I'd always see, especially at the press conferences, I feel like some of these reporters just ask the stupidest questions, and I'm just like, why can't they have me and Max up there asking questions? Because I guarantee you, me and Max would make way better questions than some of these reporters, especially when they repeat questions that have already been asked. It, pisses me off so much when you have two guys like me and Max who, we come up with our own questions. We have multiple fighters on, and, I'd love to be in the spot of some of these reporters. I don't even know how some of these reporters that even, get in front of that microphone. But do you feel the same way, Max? Should we, try to get a spot in this UFC media?
Yeah, man. I mean, it really does depend on the city, I think. If it's a city that normally does get fights like Vegas, the reporters usually aren't as bad, but it's just so clear that, some of these reporters, I don't know if it's because of where they're at, within the industry, but, they just don't do the research, man. And that's what makes me so mad. You'll have these fighters come in for media day on Wednesday, and then they'll turn around and be asked the same thing on Thursday at the presser. And it's like, you didn't even watch it. Like, you didn't take the 20 minutes or 10 minutes to watch his interview. And then, once you get there, they'll ask a question that those guys up there can't answer. Like, they're not going to give you a game plan. They don't know what's next for them because they haven't stepped in the octagon on Saturday night. So why would you waste a question in front of the world? I mean, not everybody's in the arena, watching you ask the question in person, but there's millions of people watching on YouTube whenever there's these pressers going on. So, make your question count. Don't just get on here, ask something that you already know the answer to. If you already know the answer if you already know the answer to the question that you're asking, you don't need to ask it. And that's just my opinion. me and Owen do a phenomenal job of asking questions that fighters normally do not get asked, and I think that's why they always have a smile on their face whenever they come on our interviews. But yeah, me and Owen are going to work our way up in the industry. I don't know if it's going to be a fighter that gets us a media pass or something, man, but it'd be an honor to go there to the press conferences because I promise you guys, I put a smile on your face, and I know Owen would put a smile on your face too with the question we would ask. Gotta make it fun. That's it.
Right? That's, the name of the game, especially when you're doing content like us, and especially when these fighters have to go through tons of media days and, they answer the same questions. I always try to, I always, even screw it if I have to, go on. I rarely do it, but even if I have to go on ChatGPT and ask, find me some unrelated questions that aren't related, because I love asking unrelated questions, kind of like Nina does. That's why, people make fun of Nina all the time, but I think she, has her moments, but she's, she really does it right with how she, conducts her interviews, especially on like the Wednesday media days. I think that's when she does her main interviews. But for what everyone has been waiting for and what me and Max are also waiting for, it should be about, almost 24 hours until we see this fight. But the rematch, the well-awaited rematch, I think it was smart to give Alex the rematch. He, no man deserves a rematch after losing a belt more than Alex Pereira does, based on what he did in 2024. But we have Ankalaev versus Pereira for the second time now. And I'm very excited for this match. You have Ankalaev walking in there with his manager who's, Alex hates his manager. I also hate Ankalaev's manager because I feel like he just kind of controls Ankalaev in a way, controls his Twitter, what he, puts on Twitter, puts on social media. Obviously, the last fight they had was first time we saw Alex kind of in a tough spot. He kind of got smothered pretty badly in that fight. I forget what they scored it, whether it was like 3-2. I forget what they scored it. Actually, it wouldn't be 3-2. But thinking about this fight, I can't wait for it. We've seen what these two men have given us before. Other than, and I hate to make up excuses, I don't, whether it's the sport, fighting, I hate when fighters make excuses. But I don't think that Alex Pereira was the same one that we've seen before in that last fight against Ankalaev. I don't know if I know there was reports after the fight because, they always have to come out with stuff after the fight. But I think about 4 or 5 days before, he was taking like all sorts of medicine. He was all screwed up going into that octagon. I don't think it was the same Alex that took on Yuri. I don't think it was the same one that took on Roundtree. I think the Alex walking into that cage tomorrow is the Alex that we've seen before, which is why if you're putting money on this fight or putting money on, say you're just choosing a fight, I would say I'd throw money on Alex Pereira. It really doesn't hurt, especially with Alex Pereira's power, even though Ankalaev's coaches have tried to say Alex Pereira's power is, gone. I don't believe that at all. I feel like if Alex lands tomorrow, he really didn't land in that first fight, but I feel like if he lands one on Ankalaev tomorrow, I feel like we will see a new champion. But to make a prediction for this matchup, I think usually I'm just gonna do as Bruce Buffer would say, and new champion. I think we're gonna see Alex Pereira retain or win back his title that I really think he shouldn't have lost. I think this Alex walking in there, I think is, like I said, the Alex that we've seen before that just KOs people. He's walking in there to take care of business. He also, I think, wants to leave this division as well. So I think if he wins, I do not think he will keep that belt long. Even before this, I think he was like 60 pounds over the limit like a week ago. So crazy how that guy makes weight. But I hope Alex Pereira by KO. That's going to be my prediction. I love to stick with my guys. I love Alex. I feel like, he was a huge reason most of those cards in 2024 were, relevant and good because he hopped on there in short notice fights, KOing people left and right. And I think we're going to see that same Alex tomorrow, knockout Ankalaev. Screw it. Let's say he KOs him in the I'll go Alex by KO in the 4th round. How do you feel about that, Max?
Wow, man. Yeah, I thought that was a good breakdown right there. Man, what a fight. Rematches, anytime in sports, the same team could play the same team. Same fighter can fight the same fighter, but it's always going to be a different story, man. And, that's what you could have here tomorrow night. I do think what Owen just said is 100% true. I mean, up until I think he lost the belt, he was the face of the UFC whenever he did have the belt. I think that's a non-negotiable there. Just with the space that we've been in as far as, who's the face of the UFC, what superstars that we got. I think it was him whenever he had the belt. He deserves all the respect in the world to be getting this rematch. I know a lot of people said that he got his butt kicked the first fight, but obviously we don't know what was going on. I'm not here to make excuses either. I'm on the same wave as Owen. I mean, I played at a high level in sports. I'm not a dude to make excuses, but tomorrow night, I'm going to talk about both sides, what they're going to need to do to get this done. Alex, in the first fight, everybody was worried about him getting taken down. The takedown defense was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Oh, my gosh. He surprised everybody. There's no moral victories, especially in MMA, but the way he defended the takedowns in that fight, a lot of people thought he was going to get smashed on the ground, and that's not what happened, unfortunately, there. But, I mean, he did what he had to do. So now – can we go forward tomorrow night, and can we pressure Ankalaev? That is the big question going into tomorrow night. I think Alex's takedown defense is going to be right back where it was. You could see Ankalaev get a few takedowns here and there. I don't think that's going to be what's going to happen, though. I don't think they're going to be on the mat the entire fight. So if Alex is going to win tomorrow night, he is going to have to get his hands going. He's going to have to move forward. He's going to have the confidence to do that. My only thing, though, is Ankalaev's speed looked insane last fight, and we don't know what was going on with Alex. But even though Ankalaev was not able to get the takedowns, a lot of people thought that Alex was going to be able to destroy him on the feet. That did not happen. Ankalaev actually has very good kickboxing. He was able to walk Alex down. So my keys to the fight tomorrow night for him is he has to stay on the front foot. He has to pressure Alex backwards, and he has to make him at least think about the takedown so Alex can't get his hands going on the feet. Make him at least think about getting taken down. With this fight not being that long ago, God, dude, I do have money on Ankalaev. I told Owen before we got on here I wasn't going to say if I had money on people. I do have money on Ankalaev, but the more I'm sitting here, man, the more that 230 at the bottom of the screen, guys, looks so awesome. It just looks so great at the bottom of the screen. I truly think that he probably is the best dog on the card, maybe besides Roundtree, being at the plus odds he's at. Yeah, I mean, Alex is another one of those guys. I kind of talked about it with Josh Emmett earlier. I'm not comparing Josh Emmett and Alex Pereira, but Alex just needs one, especially if it's that left hook. If he catches Ankalaev coming in, keeps him dropping his right hand maybe in any exchange, and Alex can come over the top with the left hook, he's going to go to sleep, man. I mean, we haven't seen anybody yet in the UFC really be able to wear that whenever he's really, really landed it clean. I'm going to go. See, now I'm changing my opinion live right now, guys. I'm changing my opinion live because I've been so confident on Ankalaev the whole week. We're going to go Alex Pereira, second round KO, or Ankalaev and still decision. I don't know what the hell is going to happen in this fight. That's why we're buying the pay-per-view tomorrow night. We're spending $80. If you're not an MMA fan or UFC fan, you need to gather around the campfire with your buddies tomorrow night, chip in some money and watch this. Because even right now, I do this shit for a living. I don't know what's going to happen. Fantastic main event.
Yeah, and even at the face-offs yesterday, having Alex say he's not going back to the tire shop was, obviously a
Cool.
tweet that Ankalaev made, before their first fight that they had. Like we both said, looking at that Alex Pereira, huge under. He usually doesn't walk in as the underdog. It's rare to see Alex Pereira walking in, especially at a plus 230, huge underdog, I would say, for Alex Pereira. I think if you're putting money on it, it really doesn't hurt to throw money on Alex Pereira, especially with this history. Like you said, it only takes one hit. It only takes one hit pretty much in MMA. But yeah, I really do agree with that. We have a great, card ahead of us, great headliners, great, pretty much everything undercard. And I can't wait to get, I just can't wait till we get to the point where I'm sitting down with my friends and able to enjoy a UFC 320 card because I haven't, like I mentioned, we haven't planned a watch party since January, so it's been about 9 long months, and people I haven't seen a while are coming down, even from their college campuses, like I said before. So can't wait to see them. This how if you're not a UFC fan, UFC kind of brings joy to people, brings people together like me and Max. Always a pleasure doing these, prediction type of videos. Obviously, you'll see as soon as I hop off this, probably see about 3 clips, probably tonight or tomorrow. More likely tomorrow, you'll see clips I'll take from this that me and Max, I usually take, our predictions, put them on the Instagram. So if you're not following us, once again, it's Over the Top Talk on pretty much everything besides TikTok. You see there, it's ODogg16. But me and Anthony are grinding. Me and Max are grinding. Everyone, in the MMA community has been grinding from what I've seen. So, Max, do you have any last words? It's been a pleasure, having you on once again. And hopefully, when it comes UFC 321, we'll hopefully be right back in our seats.
For sure, man. Yeah, I got actually 3 things. Punahele Soriano and Daniel Santos. Shout out to them. They followed me on Instagram. I haven't had them on my channel yet before. Good luck to those lads tomorrow night. They're on the prelims. Very, very competitive fights they got going on there. Second one is I'd love to get back on here and chat with you guys. I hope you guys are tuned into this. I mean, I can't express enough the content this guy works.
True, little technical difficulty, guys. We'll get Max back here for the outro that we got going on. Perfect. We got him back.
I'm back. Nothing happened, guys. Nothing happened. New house, new wife. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Sorry to Owen on that right there. Not sure if he talked to you guys during that, but just to keep that going, hopefully we get back on here and do the 321 predictions. I love this. It makes my day so much happier whenever I get to hop on here and talk to a good friend of mine. With that being said, I'm going to leave you guys with this. We've got a huge announcement coming your guys' way for the rest of the year once November hits and through December. Me and Owen are probably going to be meeting each other in person. So stay tuned for that announcement. I might be going to Boston and a few other places. It's becoming a real reality here. I'm waiting to announce it, though, until we get some more details put together. But you're going to see some content with me and Owen in person and other guys like Connor Matthews and girls like Aaron Johnson probably in the near future. So I can't wait to get to Boston and meet these guys.
Yeah, and everyone watching, go show love to Max, like you just said. We probably have a collab coming in the future in November, so can't wait to hear the details on that. He will announce that, so make sure to go follow him on all his socials. But But other than that, thank you. It's been a pleasure for everyone watching on Instagram, YouTube, and we'll see you all in the next one. And, you know, like Alex said, he is not going back to the tire shop.